Hi beautiful, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Kyra, I'm your everyday makeup maven, but I've had some requests, even though that I'm not panning anymore, to try and slip in some panning, project panning content here and there. So I thought today I could take a note from one of our favorite creators, Sarah Rose, here on the platform, and she talked about, even though she's not officially or technically panning products this year or doing any projects, she is still working towards some goals on products that are getting older in her collection, close to finished, things like that. So let me share with you my pan to plan, kind of. Wait, did I say pan to plan? Plan to pan 2024. So again, even though I'm not a project panner anymore, these are some products that I want to either use up, hit pan on, make some kind of progress on this year, because most of these are getting older in my collection, or they're just close to being used up, and I want to go ahead and move them out. I think I will probably, let me know down below if you're into that, but I could probably update you quarterly on how this is going for me and let you know if I've put any other products in place of products that I've met my goals on. I mean, yeah, it's kind of like a project pan, maybe you want to call it that, but I'm just going to update quarterly, and this is like completely no pressure. This is just me wanting to have some kind of control and management over a larger collection because I'm a creator here on YouTube and TikTok. So without further ado, I'm going to try to go in order of how I would apply these things. I have two mini primers that my daughter has given me from her Ipsy bags, and one is from Beauty Crop and one is from Ciate London. This is the Wee Cherie Gripping Primer. It smells like Cherry Jolly Ranchers, which I'm not completely opposed to. She really just wanted to see me use a red primer, and it is kind of red when you first put it on the skin. It's also really hydrating. I don't know that I notice a lot of gripping or longevity from this product, but I just want to go ahead and use it up because I have other gripping primers in my collection that I prefer. And then we have this Vitamin Boost Plumping Primer from Ciate London. I have not tried this yet, but I'm excited to try it. It has a rather strong like watermelon smell to it. This is definitely a hydrating primer, and I'm excited to try it out, use it up, move it out. For foundation, I'm going to be working on my Shiseido Synchro Skin Tint, self-refreshing tint. This is an SPF 20, which is part of why I am wanting to use it up, and I did receive this in PR. The shade is a little light for me, but I do have my L'Oreal True Match foundation in a deep shade that I use for mixing with products like this. It takes like one tiny drop of my darker shade, and it helps to make things that are too light a little bit darker for me. So I want to use that up and move it out, especially because it has sunscreen in it. Next is my Pat McGrath concealer of the shade L7. There are some tiny little windows starting to form in this concealer, but it's also one of my older concealers, and it's one of my more expensive concealers as well. So I really want to get all the use out of this that I can. And so the goal is to finish that one. Let's do a powder next. I am not panning a loose powder. I have no desire to pan a loose powder, but right now I do want to work on continuing to use up my Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Airbrush Flawless Finish powder. I have the shade 1 Fair, nice big pan in here. I don't use pressed powder quite as much as I do loose powder on my skin, so I would just like to use this up, and I know once you hit pan on these, they go pretty quickly, so just thought, let's move out of pressed powder this year because I mostly use loose powders. So the goal is to finish the Charlotte Tilbury powder. This one will be a sad moment when I reach my goal. My goal is to finish using up this Fenty Beauty Cream Bronzer in the shade Butter Biscuit. I'll give you a good look at it. There is not much in here. A while back, I had gone in with a spatula, kind of scraped the outsides and put it in the center to make it easier to use. I do like to use this with a sponge, and because it's one of the older cream bronzers in my collection and a favorite as well, I thought let's just use this up. see what we can do, and then maybe see if I can connect with one of my other cream bronzers before I consider repurchasing this. This is hands down, has been since I bought it, my favorite cream bronzer. It's the best shade for me and everything. Again, it'll be a sad day when I use it up, but it's time. For a powder bronzer, I really want to hit pan on my Wet n Wild Color Icon bronzer. This is in the shade Sunset Striptease. You can see I've all but worn away the little leaf embossing that's in here. I love this bronzer for a number of reasons. First of all, I love these two paired together. However, this in general is just beautiful for layering over either a cream bronzer, contour, or liquid, or a matte powder bronzer that maybe just needs a little zhuzh. It just brings the skin alive. It is shimmery, but it's not sparkly, and it's a very sheer product, so it's buildable, and again, it layers beautifully. So I've had this for a while, and I just love it, and why not just work on kind of one at a time, hitting pan on some of my older bronzers. So we're starting with that one. Let's go ahead and talk about highlighter, and it is this little baby is back with a vengeance. This is Becca's Opal Highlighter Shimmering Skin Perfector Pressed. And I, had hit major pan on this in an old project. And I really would just like to not only get use out of one of my favorite shades ever of highlight, but also just kind of move this out of my collection. It's obviously old, as Becca is no longer a brand. So I am just wanting to use that up completely. And that's enough for me. I don't have a ton of liquid or cream highlighters, so I'm not going to be including one of those, but I made up for it in the blush department. I have this little one. It's a liquid blush from Laura Mercier. It's the Tinted Moisturizer blush in the shade Provence. It is a really beautiful kind of cool tone or neutral color. You can kind of see it on the tip here. There's very little left, and I absolutely love this color. So I just really want to move this dinky little thing that gets lost in my makeup drawers over here. I just want to move it out, and then I can decide at that point if I want to purchase the full size or just try and concoct something similar from my existing collection. For cream products, this is really disappointing to me, but I want to work on my Tower 28 Beach Please blush in the shade Magic Hour. It smells like crayons. It's starting to, at least, and I haven't had this that long, if I'm being honest, and I really wish that some products didn't expire as fast as they do. The cleaner the beauty, the faster they tend to expire or go bad on you. And so while this is still in a place that I can use it, that it's not too terribly smelling, it doesn't look any different or anything like that, I want to get as much use out of this as I can. If I had to create a lofty goal for this one, I would love to hit pan on this before it goes off completely, and also try and find a dupe in the meantime for the color. I don't care about the formula. The color, I mean, I don't want a powder, but in terms of a cream, liquid, with whatever, I would like to find a similar shade because this is a great everyday shade. And then if you've been around on my YouTube channel for a long time, first of all, thank you for sticking around. And second of all, you may remember this precious blush of mine. It's the Physicians Formula, what do they call these? Butter blushes in the shade Vintage Rouge. This is a very sentimental blush for me. I've worn this for a number of important events in my life, including my sister's wedding, and it's just one of my favorite blush colors of all time. It's very beautiful on my skin tone. I just like the tone of it. It goes over my skin beautifully, and I would really like to hit pan on this year before, the formula changes so much that, it's not the same, or I don't want to use it anymore. It still smells great. It still smells like butter bronzer, so I would like to hit pan on that one. And lastly, I figure we'll just kind of rotate lip products through as well, just to kind of finish things up. They're kind of on their last bits, starting with this little mini Fenty Gloss Bomb. This is in the shade Fussy. It's already gotten to the point where I had to take the stopper out, and I don't mind doing that on these glosses from Fenty because they don't get quite as messy as some of the other glosses that I would absolutely refuse to pull the stopper out of. So like I said, oh, and then two last things, I have a face palette and an eye palette. For the face palette, I kind of want to rotate through my face palettes and at least hit pan on one product at a time. However, this one, I would love it if I could hit pan on all of the face products in this. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Instant Look in a Palette Gorgeous Glowing Beauty, and it looks like this. And I would like to hit pan on these 4 face products, the bronzer, the highlight, and the 2 blush pieces. And if I could, I would actually love to hit pan on this eyeshadow. I have used it quite a bit. It's a beautiful lid shade. And again, this is just getting old, so I really want to get some more use out of it before the product changes too much and I feel like I need to let it go. And then lastly, the eyeshadow palette. For me, this is going to be along the line of pan in every palette. So once I hit pan in an eyeshadow palette, I'll bring something different in to work on, even though this is not an official project. And I want to start with my Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes palette. I have a couple of really nice dips on these 2 shades here. Obviously, I do in the ivory shade as well, but I do try to work on something different than like a lid setting shade. I mean, if that is a bonus pan while using this, obviously that's great. But for me, I don't need pan on the 1,000 ivory lid setting shades. I want to hit pan on something else. And to get things started this year, I thought I would try and hit pan on one or the other of the shades here because I already have nice looking dips in them. So that is that. And I'll just kind of roll things in and keep track of that as I, meet goal on these things. I'll come back and I'll show you, the progress here at the end of the first quarter. So probably April, around the first part of April, I'll update you on the first quarter progress, which won't be as much because it's mid-February when I'm filming this. But, and then I'll let you know if I brought anything new in, what I met goal in, etc. You get it. It's basically a project pan, but I'm not going to be keeping pictures or usage numbers or anything like that. I just want to kind of focus on these products, keep them sitting out, and then go from there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, especially my fellow project panners out there. I hope that this will satisfy your itch to see me pan some products, even if unofficially. And I hope you're having a great week so far. I hope that you're going out in the world and radiating positivity, love, and light because the world can use so much more of that. And I will see you in the next one.